Hello again, fantasy football lovers, and welcome to the first episode of season 2 of the OG Fantasy Football Podcast. The OG, of course, stands for Old Guys. I'm Old Guy number 1, and joining me, as always, is the founder of our 34-year-old fantasy football league. It's John Ainsworth Burrell III. Johnny, we're back and we're doing it.
Old guy number 2 checking in. Very excited. Year 2. Brian, you put together a great promo. I watched it about an hour ago.
Beautiful. It's beautiful work. The fruits of our labors of season 1. We're just getting started here. We're just starting to build it. Johnny, the White Claw surges are flowing like wine. It's season 2. Football is back. All is right with the world. I'm as excited as a little schoolgirl, and I've already had a few drinks. The slurring starts already. We drink on this podcast, and we don't care who knows it. Johnny, a little bit of a recap for the people that have never joined us before. 34th season. 34, that's my roulette number. We've been doing this since basically my senior year of high school.
My favorite football player's number.
Sweetness.
Sweetness.
You're damn right I know your favorite football player. We've been doing this for a long time. It is an absolute blast. We started with our friends from high school. There is the Franchise Football League. Some refer to the system as the Miller Lite scoring system. A little recap, it's touchdowns only. That's it. We do it like the guys that originally started fantasy football in Oakland. It is distance scoring. John, should a 1-yard touchdown run be as worth as much as a 99-yard touchdown run?
Hell no.
That's just stupid. It makes no sense. Here's the way we do it. Under 10 yards for a quarterback passing, a running back running, or a wide receiver catching, that is 6 points. 10 to 39 yards, it's 9 points. And 40 and over, it's 12 points. Here's the weird part. If it's an out-of-position score, a quarterback running, a running back catching, etc., those points are doubled. That makes a 6-pointer, a 12-pointer.
Passing. A tight end throwing.
A tight end could pass it. And you know what? We don't have tight ends. You know why? Because they're stupid. Back when Antonio Gates was this modern-day Kelsey, there was only one guy worth having. And we decided, let's get rid of it. Tight ends are receivers, just like regular receivers. Plug them in and play them just like that. 18-pointer if it's between 10 and 39 out of position, and the coveted 40-yard plus out of position, the 24-point play. And when you see it live, you're rolling on the ground with ecstasy. Johnny, we just had our draft the other day. It was a success. Let's just go back. Last year, of course, Johnny, there's nowhere to go up for you, buddy.
That's for sure.
Hope springs eternal for the shit suckers. Of course, congratulations to the ass kickers. Ken Leeway won last year. It was a dogfight. It was right up to the last week. And I laid down, did I lay down 9 points? I think I'm giving myself too many. I think I had like 8 or 9 points in the last week. Just an awful, disgusting way to end the year. Ready to get that bad taste out of my mouth. But congratulations to Kenny, and congratulations to our dear, beloved, sweet golden boy, Josh Allen, who was the number 1 point producer in our entire league. It's a quarterback-heavy league. We expect you to do the same again this year, Josh. And let's get right to it. The draft, we do a random order every year. Congratulations to my brother, the Omaha Steaks, who got the first pick in this draft. For the first time, John, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 1999?
Been a while.
When he drafted.
Not in this century.
No, it was not. When he drafted Vinny Testaverde, who blew out his Achilles in the first quarter of the first game of the season. So, Tom, if any harm falls on our beloved Josh Allen, we'll never forgive you. But, of course, he had to take the golden boy, Josh Allen, off the board at number 1. Number 2, we got my nephew, Butterfly Toast. He's still sticking with that name. Justin Scharf. He goes with my pick from last year, Jalen Hurts. What did he get? What did I get him in the middle of the 3rd round last year? One of the picks of the entire draft. Jalen Hurts goes second. Some young guy we have confirmed that he exists. Our friend Carl
saw him.
Brought a guy in. He's been in the league, what, 10, 12 years?
Been a while
Nobody's ever
now.
met him. It was really speculated whether he
You're
exists.
related to him.
Apparently, I'm related to everybody. You can't swing a dead cat in Western New York without hitting a relative of mine. But he was on the Zoom call. We
Why would you
confirmed he
swing at that cat?
exists by the tail, obviously. Obviously. So Bob is in the league. He is confirmed that he exists. We always thought Carl had two teams. Carl's wife had two teams. Who we kidding? But he took Christian McCafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. He took them all.
I want to say hi to Jill since she is watching.
Hello, Jill. Thanks for all the support from last year. Tell your friends, tell your family. Oh, before we go any further, we got a website, Johnny.
Oh yeah, that's right.
fantasyfootball.com. Is it a little rudimentary? Well, I built it. What do you think? But it exists and it's almost fully functional. We'll get there. Please check that out. We're going to get the YouTube channel up as well.
Merch.
We're going to do the merch. We're going to get some shirts, some hats, maybe some bumper stickers, little beer cozies. John,
yeah.
Here is the big bold pick so far of the draft. It comes at number 4, and I called it. I called it because I was picking 5. One slot up from last year when I picked 6. At this rate, in 4 more years, I will have Josh Allen with the first pick. Mansfield Mob, just like he took Kyler Murray way too early a couple of years ago when he had his breakout year. It was a good move. He jumps on Justin Fields. Now, remember that sweet rushing touchdowns is what we won in this league. Justin Fields could be the Jalen Hurts of this season. And that just drops little Patty Mahomes right in my, come on, Mahomes, right in my lap. I don't want any more Super Bowls. I love my Kansas City friends, but I'm sick of your shit. Congratulations. I'm not congratulating you again. I'm going to unfriend you is what's going to happen if you win one more before Josh hoists that trophy. And you know what? One and done. I don't care. I'll call it a life. I will have no other goals. That will be it for me. Thrilled to have Patrick Mahomes at number 5. Johnny, why don't you pick up the next 5 picks in this first round of the OGFF fantasy draft?
Sure. And for those newcomers who didn't see last season, if you haven't picked it up yet, we are some Buffalo Bills homers. Most of the people in the league were born and raised in Western New York, although most of us live all over the country at this point. It's the draft that has kept us together for 34 plus years after high school. So
a beautiful thing.
Steve Kears, currently residing down in North Carolina. Great pick. Austin Eckler. If he stays healthy, I was hoping he was going to fall to the next pick because I had the number 7 pick and I turned some heads with this pick.
Yes, he did.
Cooper Kupp is, I think, you confirm this for me, but I'm pretty sure I've never picked a wide receiver in the first round before.
I don't think you ever have, not even back when Randy Moss was the stud of studs. I don't think you've ever done it. You were against it all the way. You're always quarterback or running back, but Cooper Kupp, hey, why worry? Why go to a doctor in Los Angeles? No, there's no good doctors in LA. You got to go to Minnesota. You want an expert? You want to know what's really going on with that hammy? You get to Duluth.
Hey, the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic is there. So
is it?
I think so.
What does mayonnaise have to do with this?
Cooper,
look, I love the pick. I loved it before we found out his hammy was hurt. We'll see. I definitely had him as my number one wide receiver. Kenny Way of the Ass Kickers had him last year, and he was on a tear in the touchdown-only league. If he would have stayed healthy, Kenny would have walked easily with his championship. Instead, he was a little bit of a nail-biter at the end. But, Johnny, I'm hopeful for you. You might want to put in a waiver ad for Van Jefferson.
You shall see.
He could be active early.
So the 8th pick with the best name in our league, Tom Lizotte.
Tom Lizotte of the Tom Lizottes. Never changed. It's been the same name.
Tom, we'll get to all the quarterback picks later, but Tom was rubbing a little salt in a wound later on about somebody's quarterback pick, saying, "Oh, you could have gotten so and so." Well, I think that Lamar is easily the second reach of the first round behind Justin Fields.
I agree.
But we'll see. We will see. Lamar was the 5th quarterback picked in the first round with the 8th pick. That leads us to Stanley Ullman, 70 years old this year.
Happy birthday,
Definitely not,
Stanley. I
definitely
would have bet
not
the
70
under.
years young.
I've known him 20 years. I would have bet the under. Hanging in there.
Stanley kept the running backs going in the first round with Saquon Barkley.
And let's not forget, he had the first pick last year. And just this is why, look, you got to, he's the only non-Bills fan in this league, and he choked. Who'd he take? Jonathan Taylor. How'd that work out? Much better this year, Stanley. Another year older, a little bit wiser. I don't know how that's going to continue trending. Very
We'll
good pick
see.
with Barkley. Wait till we get to a second-round pick. You people in your regular leagues are going to shit a brick sideways. With the 10th
Jeff
pick,
Galley,
Johnny, I like this one.
Jeff Galley, owner of the Meltdowns out in the Phoenix, Arizona area, picked Joe Burrow, who I debated about taking at 7. It was between 7 was between Cup and Burrow, and I went with Cup.
Yeah, I thought
hopefully
for sure.
my cup floweth over.
Oh, hopefully your cup floweth at all. that cup's cracked. I really figured that Joe Burrow was going to be the least. I was dead set on taking a quarterback. I was going to get one of those top 4 guys. And to me, that was Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, and Burrow. Even with the calf strain, I figured if the first 4 picks or quarterbacks, I would have taken McCaffrey and been thrilled. I really think the 5th pick was the fabled catbird seat in this year's draft. And you know what? It was last year as it worked out. Justin got McCaffrey, and that worked out great for him. But Joe Burrow in the 10th in this quarterback-heavy league, I think it's pretty good. And you know what? The next pick is a pretty good pick for the number 11 slot, Johnny.
I think the prodigal comes home. Coleman Roach coming into his 3rd season back, I believe.
One of the original 8.
Didn't ask me for advice this year, Brian. I don't know why.
Well, let's get to your second pick, and that'll be evident why no one should ever ask you for advice again. And then the ass kickers, number 1 last year.
We didn't even say who called.
We didn't say who he picked.
Tony Pollard.
Pollard.
I think that could be a very sneaky pick.
It could be, and arguably 3rd or 4th, probably best projected running back. But again, I like to see guys do it twice. But boy, he had a great year last year, so let's see if he holds up. By the way, Coleman, who lives in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area, hates the Cowboys as he should, like any self-respecting Buffalo Bills fan. Every goddamn year he does. When's he going to learn? And we wrap it up in the first round with number 1 last year, number 12 in your hearts this year with Kenny, the ass kickers. Not a bad start.
Justin Jefferson.
Here's the thing. Now, Justin Jefferson, I don't believe, has had over 80 points in this league. You want guys that get 100 points. If you have a non-quarterback, you want over 300. For a running back or a wide receiver, you're kind of aiming for 100. Now, 2 years ago, or was it last year, Eckler had 220. That's phenomenal for a running back. It's a huge amount of points. So Jefferson, he's going to break out in our league at some point. I mean, he's pretty much the consensus first round number 1 pick overall in a lot of drafts, especially these PPR leagues. But this could be the year with what's his name gone. I'm blanking on his name.
He's going to have 100 points.
Thielen is gone now. I do believe he's going to have his bust out big league chew
Alvin's
fantasy
gone.
debut. And like I talked to, and God bless him, he was sitting right next to me. He came down a night early. We went out to Dave's on Broadway, my little pub where I go do karaoke. Johnny, there weren't even 15 people in there. I rocked 7 songs. Mr. Roboto, people are still talking about it. Kenny and I had a great time, and boy, is it fun to draft with just at least one of your buddies. Last year we did it. There was half of the league was together.
Yeah.
And as soon as the draft ended, what did we do? We walked right to SoFi Stadium and watched the Buffalo Bills kick the living show. Well, we had to wait till the second half for the shit kicking to happen. But what a beautiful year last year was. But thank you, Kenny, for coming down as always. I think we've drafted together maybe 7 or 8 times. But he takes Herbert. Takes Herbert with the first pick, and I think that's probably smart because I think you're kind of done with the upper tier quarterbacks. Oh, wait, we haven't gotten to your pick. Let me take the first couple of the second round before we put all the focus on your jaw-dropping, stunning second round pick. We got to build this up a little bit. Prodigal, Jamar Chase. I took him last year. He was fun to watch. Had a bit of an injury there for a stretch. That's a solid pick. Meltdowns come in with Tyreek Hill. that probably would have been my number one guy left on the board. You just never, that guy can score every time he touches the ball. He can also have rushing touchdowns anytime they give it to him out of the backfield. Solid start for Gauls. And then the Deadheads, after that Jonathan Taylor debacle, comes through. Barkley in the first, Bijan Robinson in the second. That is very, very solid. Very solid 1-2 punch. Tommy Lezot with a stretch here. Now, I had a strategy, Johnny. I was going to maybe think about snagging this guy in the third and then pairing him with his backfield mate, Jamar Gibbs. A lot of promise if he does what Swift does. DeAndre Swift had 2 solid years. He just couldn't stay healthy. But if he would have had mad points because I think he caught a couple 24-pointers in his first 2 years. Of course, he's gone. Gibbs picks up the pace. But, what was it? I believe it was Swift and Jamal Williams combined for something like 27 touchdowns. It was ridiculous last year. So I had that changed my strategy right off the bat. I was like, that was no longer an option for me because I was thinking I had 7 wide receivers with an A grade. And I thought, let me take a wide receiver with one of those 7 falls to me with the second round pick. I'll take one of them. Then I'll snag Gibbs. Then I'll reach for Montgomery. That was shot right out of the gate. Now, Johnny, why don't we pick it up? Let's go through the entire thought process on your pick with the 18th pick of the 2023 OGFF Big League 2 draft.
Before the big reveal, let me just say that at the conclusion of the draft, we use, and we're gonna want to talk to them about some promotional kickbacks, but we use CBS Sportsline.
Yes, we do.
And as soon as the draft is over, they send out an email, which is the draft recap.
Do you have it?
And I got a D-. But let's just say that they have no idea how our league works. They don't understand distance scoring. It really doesn't matter. But there is a quote in here.
But it's funny.
That does just happen to say, oh, where is it?
I think they called you a douchebag by name.
The dubious honor. Well, first of all, in the first paragraph, it says, despite having the man who engineered the greatest comeback in NFL history, we're projecting that you will wind up at the back of the pack. The dubious honor of making the worst pick in the draft goes to you. You selected Kirk Cousins with the 18th pick in a bold, read, almost certainly wrong move.
Walk us through, Johnny. Walk us through Tommy's on the clock.
I'll gladly walk you through it.
Tommy's on the clock. What's going on in that brain of yours right now?
Seven quarterbacks have been drafted.
7 gone.
Of the 4 people besides me who don't have a quarterback yet, 3 of them pick after me in the second round and before me in the third. So 3 of them have a total of 6 picks to pick a quarterback before I get a chance to.
True.
Kirk Cousins is projected to be the 8th highest scoring quarterback in our league. 7 have already been picked. Not necessarily the 7 who are projected to score more, but Cousins is projected 8th. And I did not want Deshaun Watson.
No.
I did not want who else was picked in the third round?
I think most people are thinking who's left in our scoring. Look, is it Taylor Lawrence? Who cares? It's Trevor Taylor.
I thought about Trevor. Yeah. It was honestly between Trevor and Kirk, and Trevor plays for a terrible team and he's unproven.
Yeah, they might not have such a terrible team this year, but we'll see. Kirk has done it. But look, let's just be honest. You watch that quarterback show on Netflix and you got suckered. Yeah. You got smitten. You got a little bit of a man crush. And how do you not? How do you not love him? He's just a great fucking guy. It's hard not to love Kirk Cousins. And you know what? Solid quarterback as your backup. Good luck to you, Johnny. I remember when I said I was so stunned. I'm like, you took 2 quarterbacks with your first 2 picks? Because I just went back and thought I assumed he was taking Burrow. But he did not. Oh, my God, Johnny. Well, good luck, Kirk Cousins. You got to work that into your team name somehow.
Listen. I don't think we can run through with the time we have remaining the entire 13 rounds.
Let's
So
do them
maybe we
all.
should let's wrap up the second round quickly and then talk about how the teams look overall for the
Let's get
season.
let's get to my pick because it's important.
Well, let's not
Round
skip
two.
over. Let's
Round
not skip
two.
over Steve.
Steve, solid pick. Stefan Diggs. That would have been a very difficult decision for me to make if Stefan Diggs had not been taken because last year, lo and behold, let's just call it what it is. I lost the league with my first round pick. That's the way it works in this league. You can't win in the first round, but you can most certainly lose. And that's what I did. We did our draft order, and we've traditionally done it 6 or 7 weeks before the draft. And that gives me way too much time
End of July.
to think. And at Dunkfest, we usually do it the last weekend of July, and it's just way too much time for me to think and overthink. And last year, I was Derrick Henry. If he falls to me, I take Derrick Henry. And then I do a deep dive for the last 15 years of the league, and I think, no, at the last minute, I decide I'm going Alvin Kamara. You're dead to me, Kamara.
And I picked
dead.
right after him, and I got Henry, and I finished last. So
yes. That's just even more how brilliant my draft was. Derrick Henry, I believe, had 102 points. Kamara had 48, and I believe 42 of them were in one freaking game.
Who had
That's
Kamara the year before and wouldn't have drafted him with a gun to his head? This guy.
Yeah, he screwed both of us. You're dead to both of us, Kamara. So, look, I was planning on taking a wide receiver. I got A.J. Brown sitting there. I've also got
Davante
Adams, who everybody's down on in regular fantasy. Like, come on, don't diss Jimmy G like that. He was the top point producer of the tight end position or of the receiver position for our league last year with Carr throwing to him. But Derrick Henry, it's redemption. It's too perfect. I get him in the second, so mark it down. This is Henry's year where the wheels fall off, and Kamara is going to have 100+ points this year because that's the way it works. No, it doesn't. Henry's going to bring me a title. Hey, look, I could have taken Chubb. I was high on Chubb, even though he was dead to me for a couple of years, but I let it go. You're named after a half-flaccid penis. It doesn't matter. Carl takes him. Let's just finish out the second round. A.J. Brown goes to some young guy. Joe Mixon. I want to go a couple. Look at the talent that goes after because I was hoping.
This is a string of really solid picks, right?
Really
after Kirk
good
Cousins.
picks. And then Chubb, A.J. Brown, Mixon, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. Congratulations, Tom. It's really easy to screw up the first pick. Refer to our friend Stanley. But, I mean, I'm talking about the second and third round. You can't do much better than that. Aaron Jones is getting up there in age, but he's still the guy. I'm sorry. He's going to catch the touchdowns, and Devontae Adams is still Devontae Adams until further notice. So, Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, very solid. And maybe we just want to go through our picks now because let's just talk about I'm disappointed in the third round to draft Josh Jacobs. In a regular league, you would think that's crazy because that's pretty much a consensus second round pick, maybe even a first rounder in regular fantasy. He's one of those running backs that wasn't getting paid. He's like, I'll take a buck, 1.7 more than you were going to give me on the franchise. It's kind of almost a prove it year. He's trying to make another big paycheck and get a long-term deal. So I take Jacobs in the third.
I was glad you did because I had running back on my mind, and I was happy with who I got.
And you didn't want Jacobs. He takes Najee, not back. These are both first-round picks a couple of years ago.
I like the Steelers. I like the Steelers a lot. I like having one. I like their run game a lot. But I also, while we're just there in the round, I think Ramondre Stevenson was a good pick right after me, too, by Tom.
Yeah, somebody I just did not have on my radar. I don't like the Patriots. I don't really want any of them on my team. He's kind of not, I don't know, it's not a sexy pick, but it is a solid pick. And Tommy always goes heavy running back.
And then I went Kelsey, Dalvin Cook, Madison, Dobbins, another string of really good players late in the third round.
A nice stretch. And you know what? I did take long consideration on taking Kelsey in the third just to stack him with Mahomes. By the way, how he came very close to having no ACL just today. Did you see that on the news? I just heard that in the car.
I didn't see the injury, but I know he's nursing a knee injury.
It's intact, unfortunately.
Questionable week one.
We don't like to see anybody get hurt unless it's, unless it's a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, because we want that Super Bowl. Look, I want a fantasy title. I want a Super Bowl more. So, who knows if
Kelsey
Kelsey
on one leg still the best tight end.
no kidding. So look, Mahomes had one leg last year and he won the Super Bowl. The guy's built differently. God damn it. And the Bills, we're responsible for you, Kansas City, getting that.
All right, round four. Round four,
baby.
I am excited.
This pick pissed me
round
off.
4 pick. I am
like
very
this.
excited.
You should be.
Now, he was great at the Lions, and now he's on a Super Bowl contender. What is DeAndre Swift going to do? And how did I get him in the 4th round?
I don't know, but I was 2 picks after you, and I audibly was disgusted at your pick.
I remember your gasp.
I had him slated, and boy, what a nice flex. DeAndre Swift is my flex. That would have been, but 2 picks later, I take the guy that he replaced, Miles Sanders. I mean, I'm not too worried about Chubba Hubba, but Carolina's gonna suck. Maybe they'll be throwing the ball. Maybe they'll be dumping off. They got a rookie running or quarterback. So I like Miles Sanders. I like Swift better. I think maybe he's a little more durable. Then coming back. All right, here. Look.
Round 5.
Last year, I obviously blew it with Kamara, but I also picked up a couple weeks into the season Taysom Hill, the clown pick. I named my team the Taysom Bitches, and it was exciting. Why, John? Because I watched him have 66 points in one game. 66 points in what? By the way, that's not the record. Our record is Jamal Charles when he was with the Chiefs had 90 points in one game. That's a great season. That is the record of anybody for one game point total in our league. But Taysom in the 5th. Now remember, he lines up at quarterback. I believe he had over 90 rushes. Those are all double. So with the 5th pick, and I just didn't think that there was anybody. I mean, more
not
from
double
Chicago
unless he gets in the end zone. Remember that.
Well, exactly.
For you newcomers.
The offseason, they're like, Taysom Hill likely to get more action at the tight end position. No, that's the last place I want my tight end. Not at the tight end position. We want him throwing or running. And remember, with Kamara gone for the first 3 weeks, Jamal Williams, who knows? It's the same coach. Why would they stop doing that stupid bullshit with Taysom Hill? But that's the thing. Now I'm not going to start him as my flex. I love my 3 running backs, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, and Miles Sanders. I'm setting them and forgetting them. So I have still not taken a wide receiver. I take Taysom Hill, and you just got to start him every week and take 7 donuts in a row, because you're always just going to think I could get 66 again, and it won't happen, and I'll be pissed off at the end of the year, but that's okay. Back.
Weird Al had a song about that. Just eat it.
Just eat it. Just like you did all year. God, you ate just plates upon plates of shit.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
So, round 6, Johnny. Nice pick in round 6.
For our followers who've been with us for a year, most of you know I've got over 20 years of college coaching experience, a little bit of a brag there. The reason I say that is because I spent a lot of time this summer saying that with the acquisition of the Bills' first-round pick, I think that our number 2 receiver, who had 2 huge games in his entire career, might be the most overrated number 2 receiver in the league. And then what do? I pick Gabe Davis, 7th pick in the 5th round, and I'm expecting Gabe to do great things this year.
We would love Gabe to do great things.
Sorry I talked behind your back, Gabe, all summer long, but
all is forgiven,
now, brother.
All is forgiven. You get us a ring. And all is forgiven for everything. Anybody, I'll forgive OJ if we get a goddamn ring.
Stanley's pick at 9, though, two picks later, made me think, ooh, I've had him before 2 years ago. I might have wanted him instead. Ayuk.
I drafted Ayuk. That was my original name. Ayuk. Kidding me. I'm better than that. Come on. I'm supposed to be a writer. Ayuk on your shoes would have been better. And now there goes Kamara. Look at that. I take him in the 1st round. What a difference a year makes. Round 5, Alvin Kamara. The clock on the wall says we got 10 minutes to wrap this up, Johnny. Yeah. We'll go through the rest of our picks.
Quickly.
You got then you take White, who is the guy now in Tampa Bay. I think that's a great pick. How about this pick in the 6? I like Khalil Herbert of the
Good pick.
Chicago
Good
Football
pick.
Bears. I
Two
think
good
that
running backs we got right there,
that's a
brother.
guy I'm not even going to be starting. That's just a little
And
insurance.
who picked in between us? Kears takes Jonathan Taylor to put him on the pup
John
IR for the
Taylor,
first
who
4,
knows
6, 8 weeks.
the disgruntled Jonathan Taylor. I'm just glad he's not a Dolphin. We don't need any more talent in the AFC East. We've had enough. We've had enough. Coming back in the 7th round. Now, you guys in your traditional leagues, how many wide receivers have you picked by the 7th round? 0 for me. I take Mike Evans. How dare you? How dare you call Mike Evans flatlined already? Like, Baker Mayfield can still play ball, I guess. He had one good game with the Rams last year. Everybody's sleeping on Mike Evans, and he scores touchdowns. So we're hoping. I'm going to pair him with
Mike Evans a couple times in the last 3 years. I like him.
He was great for you. He was great for you the last time you had him. And then you take Bateman. I mean, there's 3 guys there in Baltimore. I think they're all quality. Bateman could be the guy. Could be a different one every week.
One thing I did differently this year, never did before, was I paid more attention to the actual depth chart on CBS Sportsline. And every one of my wide receivers, except maybe the last, I'll have to double check, but is a 1 or a 2 on the team's depth chart.
That's what you want.
Rashad Bateman is supposedly the 1 at Baltimore. I think we got to wait to see how Baltimore shakes out, but he's the number 1 receiver.
Well, let's not forget, you got Andrews. He's probably really the number 1 option, or has been. And then you got OBJ, who knows what he's going to do. That guy can score anytime he touches the ball. And then Zay Flowers sent to
I mean, they've got a good receiving core. I've had Zay Flowers on my, sorry to cut into your Elvis Costello there.
It's not Elvis Costello. That's a Smithereens. How dare you, John? You're the one who's supposed to know about music. I've passed you in fantasy. I've passed you in music. I used to think
Pass me an age, motherfucker. Try that.
No, sir. I'm keeping it tight. I am keeping it tight. All right, and now we get into the 8th round. Mostert. Can't believe Stanley passed on Mostert. He drafts players that he thinks are Jewish. And Mostert.
I don't like having a Dolphin, but
I wouldn't either.
He's my 3rd running back now, or 4th? He's my 4th running back. That's
Something
not
like
a bad
that.
4th running back.
Now, how about this for an 8th round pick? Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Football Chargers. He's shown that he can make 100 points in a season before. We'll see what happens. Herbert, just a terrible year last year.
That was in the 20th century, though, wasn't it?
It was a while ago, but it still counts. So I think Mike Williams, Mike Evans, hey, if we're rocking 4 years ago, that's a solid wide receiving core. Coming back.
Round 9. Isaiah Hodgkins is listed as the number 1 wideout in the New York Football Giants, who I picked.
Is that right?
7th pick.
That's a former Buffalo Bill. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Of course, they've got a former Buffalo Bill as head coach. So
Dayball saw some talent there.
Ryan.
We liked him, but we didn't have room. We got so many good receivers. So good luck with him.
And
we passed over. With Kadarius Tony does it again.
Could be huge.
I heard. I was listening to the Sirius radio station. I'd give the guy props. Can't remember his name, but he did a long, deep dive into Tyreek Hill's development compared to Tony's development. Could be who they're grooming to be the next guy. Who's the number 1 in Kansas City? It's Kelsey. Hopefully that knee's going to swell up like a freaking balloon. Keep him out for a few weeks.
You look at that depth chart, and outside of Kelsey, the running backs and the wide receivers, complete question mark.
It's a mishmash.
Who's the guy? You don't know.
Can't believe they won the Super Bowl. You just don't know who. That's the sign of a real team, a true team where there's not really any stars other than the 2.
4 rounds to go. Introduce my pick of the 10th round.
We got. It's another Buffalo Bill.
D. Harris. Homer.
I like the backfield with the Bills. We got Cook, we got Harris, we got Latavius. He's got something in the tank. I think we're going to be fine. I like this pick.
Running back.
That's very good. That's good depth. I got Brandon Cooks in the 10th round. Who knows what he's going to do? Should be a solid number 2 down there in Dallas. He's always been consistent. So we'll see. He could be good for 8 or 9, but when am I going to start him? Taysom is going to be all right. 11th round.
Keep in mind at 11, we've already had at least 1 defense and 1 kicker taken. Thanks, Jeff.
That's
So
right.
now we're getting deep into the rounds. So
Yeah.
round 11, you got a few spots left to clean up. I chose a kicker,
Yeah.
Jake Elliott from the Eagles. They're going to score a lot of points, so
Yes,
he's at
there. A
least
lot
going
of
to have a
extra
lot of
points.
extra points.
A lot of extra points in your
And
future.
Donkey went the defense route.
Look,
Tell
I
us who you
wanted
pick.
Butker. My brother took Butker. I wanted
Uh,
Carlson.
and
Mansfield
then you
mom
just
took him
wouldn't
right
bite on
before
Dicker.
me.
We tried to get you to take a Dicker.
I don't bite Dicker. No more biting Dicker. I don't drink anymore like that. The Patriots, I think the Patriots were overwhelmingly the best defense in our
They
league last
scored
year.
more points than my highest scoring player, I
They
think.
scored more than your quarterback. They scored more than Matt Stafford. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. Coming up down the stretch, Johnny takes Russell Wilson. I told you, you redeemed yourself. I think Russell, look, there was a short guy that had some mobility down in New Orleans with Peyton, did quite well. I think Wilson is going to have a bounce back year. You're going to start the wrong. You're going to start the wrong guy every week. It's going to be the opposite of when you had Jim Kelly and Randall Cunningham, and you started the right one every time. This year, not so much. And then the last one I took, and Aubrey was his name. That's a song, I think. Aubrey apparently is a kicker in the NFL, and he plays for Dallas. He took over for Bill Maher, and that's how we end it. And the ass kickers with the last pick of the draft, the Commanders. Johnny, I'm so excited. The season starts Thursday, and my starting quarterback, I like to watch my quarterback play. I'm going to have fun watching the Chiefs. I hope they just kick ass until the playoffs, and then they lose to Cincinnati, and then we play Cincinnati in the AFC Championship because we just shit the bed last year. It was an emotional letdown. I just don't think we had anything left last year, especially after what happened to our dear sweet DeMar. He's back. The Bills are back. We are Super Bowl bound, and we're not fucking around this time. We are so excited. We are so excited.
Play the Bengals in the AFC Championship.
That's what I just said.
In the Super Bowl, we are going to defeat the regular season MVP, Kirk Cousins.
He's calling it. The Bills versus Kirk Cousins. Revenge for that crazy, crazy game that Kirk came in and stole from us. We are excited that you're joining us again. Check out the website, ogfantasyfootball.com.
We got 2 minutes.
Do we? Are you keeping track? How's that work?
Yes,
I can't see.
We got just under 2.
Well,
every year for many years, I have done the odds of who's going to win. I haven't actually calculated odds this year, but I just want to give you the rundown of what I think is the best team to the worst team.
This
best
is the first
team
time hearing it.
By far, Tom Dunkelman. Second best team. Not too far behind, Brian Dunkleman.
That's a Dunkelman-dominated league.
Tied with Stephen Kears. Followed by Justin Sharp, who was tied with Coleman Roach. Coleman Roach.
Another brother from a different mother.
Then we've got in 6th, me. Of course, I'm biased. 7th.
Put yourself right in the middle of the pack.
8th, Ken Way. 9th. 9th, where'd 9th go? Carl Northrop. 10th, Bob Young. 11th, Stanley Ullman. And 12th, the Tom Lizots, owned by Tom Lizots.
Of the Tom Lizots. Oh, man. If he comes in last, maybe that'll be incentive to put his brain to work and come up with a goddamn team name. Hey,
less than a minute to go. Wrap us up.
If it doesn't work, it's probably not going to keep working. Check out that website. We'll see if I can figure out how to update it. We're going to try and give you our standings so that you can follow along and see how this works. We're building. We're going to put it up on the YouTube channel, which I kind of bailed on last year because I couldn't figure out how to get to it. Look, I got shit going on. Actually, we're on strike. I don't have that much going on. I'll be at Dave's on Broadway pretty much every weekend, rocking the mic. The manager came up to Kenny. He says, you know what we call this? We call this guy the voice. You hear that, Kelly Clarkson? I'm the voice for John Burrell.
Does Kelly watch?
Does Kelly watch this? I don't know if Kelly Clarkson watches, but I know she stole my donkey yoki. I am thinking about litigating, but you know what? I forgive you, Kelly. I know it's your people that are the problem. For John Burrell, I'm Brian Dunkleman. Good luck, everyone, in your first week of the new fantasy season. We'll see you next week on the OG fantasy football podcast. Go Bills.
Go Bills.